Good morning. I think you can see maybe this desk over. I moved everything around. This a desk is well, the tables here are just loaded with junk that I've got to, and I'm, you know, do something with. Put it somewhere, organize it better than it is. Doesn't do a lot of good because when I need to find some part or some cable or something, there's just a mass of stuff here, and it's a problem. So I got a little bit of sleep last night. I'm going to try to organize this stuff and make it better. I've moved things around like I do all the time. That's part of the problem, I think. Um, really cold here. I'm not going outside. It's just too cold. And I always have to preference that by, that I worked uh, in all kinds of weather. I welded, in the wintertime inside. Well, it really wasn't a building. I mean, there was some sides on it, but a railroad train could come into the, in there and exit out another entrance, and it carried, or we took metal off or loaded metal in or did. I mean, it just, when I worked hospital security, I mean, I had to be at work every day, and there was, in Missouri, there was bad weather. There was, winter storms. I'd be driving down from Belton, Missouri to Kansas City, Missouri on, 71 highway, and it'd be, rush hour if I was working the day shift, and you'd be driving down, and there was cars and trucks that would pass you at the regular speed, the speed that they, over the speed limit that they always drove through when the weather was nice and when there was no ice and snow. And I'd just be driving down the road, and there'd see a car go off the road, into the thing. I got to work every day. I had to get to work, and there, at some point, the director of security decided that we were going to start doing this. There was a company that we paid. We'd call them, and in about an hour or so, they would have a crew there to, lawn, home, and garden, I think was what it was called. They came in and they did a fantastic job, and then we took over security because the director of security liked to take things over, and just that's just the way he was. Sort of like the way I like to organize things. And but I worked, I'd come in. Sometimes I came in when we took over snow removal. I'd come in and put on my coveralls and go out and start plowing the parking lots and putting out de-icer and doing all this kind of stuff. And there's other times I would be cold weather or whatever, just cold weather, no ice or snow, and I would spend an entire 8-hour shift jump starting people's cars, um, getting their frozen locks open on their doors, and just do that all day, for the entire shift, and then drive through. If it was wintertime, then drive home through a blizzard. So um, that kind of bothers me about Darlene. Oh, I don't know if we can get a food delivery. I don't know what's going to happen because it's going to be cold and there's going to be snow. Yeah. Now, because these people down here do not know how to drive in snow and ice and that kind of thing. Although I'm sure there are a lot of people like myself who, uh, came from different climates and are used to it. Now, I did make a video, a short video. Probably none of you have seen it, but it's on YouTube. It's on my account, where we had a little snow here a few years ago. A little bit. I mean, nothing in Missouri. It was, compared to Missouri, it was nothing. Just a little bit of snow, and the Wells Fargo bank closed. The bank closed. Uh, the dollar store, the new dollar store. There's a bunch of dollar stores in this area, and although they're now, well, they're still called the dollar store, but the stuff's $1.25 is sort of their thing. But there was a new one, and it was set to open, a half a block from here. And the company, the corporation, is a Canadian corporation. And so Canada, you're gonna get, you understand where I'm working at, weather, And I don't know, somebody from Canada is probably going to say, we are in such and such a valley, and, there are beautiful flowers growing 24 hours a day, 7 days. I don't know that, Well, I used to listen to a lot to radio Canada on shortwave radio, and then I would even listen to the local, which was easy, the local radio stations. And so, I'm not a total idiot about Canada. I'm just a total idiot about everything else. But anyway, I just decided to make a video here. Okay, it was, so get the idea. The corporation is in Canada, and their grand opening for this store just happened to be on a day when there was a little bit of snow on the ground, a little bit. And so I took out my camera, my cell phone. I think it was my camera. Can't remember back then. And went out and got, half a block from here to the Camp Boy Boulevard. And, one Wells Fargo bank was closed, and the store that was supposed to have their grand opening, which they didn't have for 3 days. Because of the weather, but the thing was over in a day's time. But I wonder what the corporation, headquarters, they were probably up in, I don't know, Montreal or someplace, it's really bad, And they must have been our brand new store, a place called, Fort Worth. And maybe they probably heard of it, Well, it had been closed for 3 days. It didn't open, the grand opening they didn't have. Anyway, I went down and I went down and I walked around showing the cars slipping and sliding and all that kind of stuff. And I was, look at these people. They can't drive. This isn't anything. This is nothing. I'm from Missouri. I come from a state that raises corn and cotton and cockleburrs and Democrats, and for all the eloquence, neither convince me or satisfies me. I'm from Missouri. You've got to show me. And I'm showing these cars, I thought, man, what idiots. And then I'm saying, man, these people, this is unbelievable. This unbelievable, these people here, they can't drive. And then I fell down. I was on the sidewalk, walking. We don't have a car. And I had trouble getting up, not because of the snow or whatever, but just because of my condition. And this was a few years ago. So it's really cold today, and that there's no ice or snow. To another thing about, I don't want to talk about weather. Why am I talking about that? Anyway, well, because it's cold. Anyway, I have improved the arrangement of the room. I've made some, but man, there's everything in order for me to, my bed's over there. Let's see, can you see it? I can't see it. I guess it's not over there. I guess it's over there or something. I would like to have one of those cameras. I had one of the original, I had cameras before that, I had cameras hooked up into a streaming video and doing stuff like that. When you had to hook to an RS-232 port, which was known as like the printer port, where you hooked a printer up to it or whatever. And man, I've seen a lot of changes in, and I know they have a lot of, cameras. I think now I might like to have a camera that would follow me. Well, I had, when they came out a little bit with Logitech or whatever, with the Logitech, with the camera, it would make slight changes if you moved or something like that. And it would, it would do the searching on its own. And I think I was making a video about John F. Kennedy's assassination, I think. I think that's the one. And I had the, what's the one? I think a Logitech. And that was one of the features of it. And so I'm sitting there and the camera keeps going. Of course, I had clothes on, but it keeps going to my crotch. I'm talking about you know, the assassination of John F. Kennedy. They have improved quite a bit by, you know, since then. All the cameras have. It would now, I think, be nice to have, of course, I've got a Razor here, excellent. I've got the other camera that is a really good one that is also excellent. But it might be nice to have one of those that, you know, sit wherever you put it. And if I got up from here to go over and get something to bring over and to show, you know, show you, if I had it set, you know, it would follow me. You know, that would be kind of, that'd be kind of nice, but I'm not going to do it. I've bought those kind of things in the past. If I just had the money I had spent just on modems, you know, 300 baud modem, 1200 baud modem, you know, 2400 and so forth and so on. Same with printers, you know. I forget what I paid for the first, well, the first printer I actually bought was for a TI-58 calculator, a regular calculator. And you could program it a little bit. That's before the internet and before everything else. Anyway, I've got to get this stuff, and I'm going to do it today because I got about 3 or 4 hours sleep. It's really cold, and I can't anymore. I cannot go out when the wind is blowing like it is. I can't get my breath, and so I'm trying to, you know, walk back to here or go to the mailbox or something, and I've got my face, you know, covered up with, you know, stocking cap or something or other, trying not to breathe. One time, a long time ago when I was in the Kansas City, Missouri area, and our car broke down, and luckily I worked out there 11 years. Our car wouldn't have broken down. My grown son was living with me then, and you know, I worked at the hospital. I could almost see the hospital from where I lived. He worked about 2 blocks or 3 blocks from the hospital at a Taco Bell for years. The manager there, a lady, was really, really nice to him. He had some problems, and when he wasn't able to be at work, she'd have his job ready for him when he came back. But anyway, our car, and I forget which one it was, Volkswagen Rabbit or what. I said, you know, Jimmy, you know, this car is, you know, not going to last long. It's just common sense that, you know, we got X number of miles on it, X number of whatever. So just, you know, use it to drive your 3 blocks, you know, to work or whatever, and then come home. Don't do anything. And he said, oh, okay. And then he stepped out on the porch to, for some reason, he went out on the porch for some reason, and then I looked, he was gone. The car was gone. And he came back the next day, and the car broke down. We lived in a trailer park. I'm trailer trash. And he came through, you know, he made it, he drove into Kansas City, Missouri, you know, and he came back and he got into the trailer park right in front of the office of the trailer park, and the car broke down, and that was the end of the car. So for a little bit, I was having to walk to work. Luckily, I was like 3 blocks from work, and he was having to walk up to the Taco Bell. Although he had a friend that lived next door, his age or whatever, and sometimes Troy would give him a lift to work. Oh, so anyway, I jump. What'd you call that if you were a movie producer or something? Or we're doing a such and such or whatever. So anyway, I was making a video. You know, hey, these people do not know how to drive. I was, you know, and boom, and I had trouble getting up. I fell the other day, just stepping off a curb here in the apartment. Well, longer than the other day because finally man, my stomach is growling, I think. I fell in the parking lot here, and I got up myself, which was difficult. I got myself, and Oh, you probably saw that video or part of the video, maybe, if you watch all my videos like you should. You should. I fell and banged up both knees. I mean, you know, they were bleeding. And I had a little laceration, I'll say laceration instead of a little cut there. A little cut there. And then let's see. Okay, so, both elbows, but I didn't know that. I knew this one was, you know, it had been bleeding. And I was making a YouTube video for my people. And then as I was making the video, for some reason, this arm came up, and I didn't even know I had, you know, I didn't even know that was bleeding. Finally, the scabs finally came off of the right knee after this been, except now I can't see my feet, really. Well, I can't see my feet, I guess. And there's still, on this right leg, there's still two places right there on the knee cap area that are, doesn't hurt to push on it, but they still bruised area or whatever. So anyway, I hope to make some progress today. One thing, and I probably won't, I've got, you know, I've had this for, where's the camera here? Okay. I've got this, you know, sound card or whatever. And, but I probably won't be hooking it up because I've got a simple connection set up that is working, you know, right now. I have a couple other sound cards or whatever. This docking station or whatever, I think it's on the table here someplace, but I use that occasionally. Problem is, right now the Dell computer that I bought, desktop computer that I bought, was, you know, refurbished, $120, and it's working okay. I've had a couple of times that I've had some problems. I had to go in and I spent 6 hours, and I should have known before. I spent, what was it? I couldn't connect to the internet or whatever. I think something like that. And that was when I got the, was it the Verizon or what? And everything was working fine, and then bang, it wasn't. And I spent 6 hours, I'm ashamed to admit. Of course, I was taking some breaks. I'm an old man. I spent 6 hours trying to find what the problem was, and then I found out that the Wi-Fi card that was in there had gone bad, and I fixed that, and then the problem was solved. 6 hours wasted or whatever. This helps out a lot because I'd like to have a lot of stuff, but the Dell that I have, $120 one, it does not have a micro USB connection on it. This has one, and but I managed to hook this up, even though it doesn't have one for this. But it would be better if I had, so I don't have to come up with some cabling, that's kind of. But I'm not going to throw this. Don't worry. Here's my Samsung, which I hardly ever use it. Laptop, but it comes in handy. Comes in handy sometimes. Oh, here's actually the wavelength over here. It's out of the box. Well, it's wrapped around every other cable that's laying on this table that I've got to put away. The light thing that goes above the monitor that shines down, which I generally don't use it, but sometimes I do, and I need it. I need it now, but a whole bunch of stuff I need to put away. And how long have I been talking? About 20 minutes, that's fine. I need to get to work and start doing this work. So thank you very much for watching.